Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Tuesday, June 11th, and I wasn't able to film yesterday just because it was too busy of a day. Lots of volunteering at school, and had to go grocery shopping, and I just needed to cut that out. So I had time this morning, and I probably won't have time for a while, so I think my next video will probably be in 2 weeks. So I will share with you today what I've been doing this past week, as well as what my plans are for the next 2 weeks. It may change. I reserve the right to change it. So what I was planning to do last week was High Hopes by Just Nan. And this is my first Just Nan piece, and I started it for New Year's Eve New Start. And I had just a tiniest little start. Let me see. I'll keep that. So this is what that looked like before, and I'm pretty happy with where I got to, and really wanted to keep working on it, actually. This is where I'm at now. So these dark green is all I had last time, and now I picked the light green and kind of worked it over here. I grabbed some white. This pattern had pearl cotton. For the white, it called for number 8 pearl cotton, and so I got some, and I hated it. Did not like it at all. And then I realized at some point that this is 32 count olive green Belfast linen, and the chart calls for 28 count fabric. And so I thought, well, maybe it's just because it's a smaller count that number 8 is being obnoxious. I found it very tight and bulky and bumpy, and it was not, because it's like a rope, so it doesn't lay flat. Like 2 strands of floss will like separate and kind of lay flat. It was really bumpy, and it was bugging me. So I ripped that out and replaced just a tiny little section here with some floss, just regular Blanc DMC 2 strands. And then when I got up here, I decided to try number 12 pearl cotton, because that's a smaller size, and it was a little better in working with it, but then you could see the thread through it, because again, it doesn't spread out and lay flat, it's just a rope. So it was a thinner rope, but still a rope. So I decided, okay, forget that. I'm not doing pearl cotton, I'm just going to do white. This is regular white DMC. This is olive green Belfast. As I said, I got this like at a huge piece of this for when Needlework Plus was going out of business. So I came down here. I just had to. I was planning to work up, of course, but I couldn't leave this little guy alone. Little hedgehog with a 1/1 face. And he's got little backstitch quills, so he's all done. And I did the birdhouse. Has some backstitch lines in the roof that I did. And what I found interesting, that roof is different than the roof that's charted. They have a solid color here and no backstitching, and what was charted was a really light color with backstitching. So I thought that was very interesting. The model was not representing what was on the chart. So I did what was on the chart, and thought it looked nice. And so I did the little spider web, tiny little 1/1 backstitching for the spider web, for this actual spider, and then did the bird. And I actually stitched on this. I planned to stitch on it 4 days, and I went ahead and did it a little over 5 because I had things I wanted to finish. I wanted to get to this little 1/1 ladybug too, so I did. And then I went ahead and put in 1 strand of white up here just to make it, just to be sure that I liked the choice of DMC, and I did. So this is what this looks like now, and I'm really happy with it. I wanted to kind of scrap all my plans and keep going on this forever and ever, because I was having so much fun. Everywhere you look, there was something new to start working on. I wanted to work the words over here that they have on top. There's some words that are 1/1, and then I thought, well, maybe I should probably do the white border stitches first to make sure the 1/1 doesn't get off, because it's fiddly when you're doing 1/1, and so I wanted to have some context. But that would have taken too long, and so I figured, well, fine, I'll stop. I'll be good. But what I'm considering, what just occurred to me today, what I might do is next month, when I'm planning to participate in the Full Coverage Fanatics Tour de France, stitch along, which will be one project on a variety of days with certain number of stitches. And I haven't nailed down exactly which whip I'm going to do, but the amount of stitches is pretty small for most of the days, so I figured if I could have a backup project on those days. I could do the amount of stitches for the challenge, and then if I have more time to stitch, I can have a backup. And I thought this could be a fun backup, because then I could get a little bit more work on it, and it would be different than, you know, 1/1 full cross or half cross, whatever I decide to do. My full coverage, most of my full coverage pieces are pretty tiny stitches. So this could be a nice, this is 32/2, which is equivalent of 16, so the X's are bigger, and it's just very different than a full coverage piece. So I thought this could be a nice break after I do my challenge stitches, if I have time. I don't guarantee I'd have time. Some of the days there might be, I might barely make it, I might not make it at all. But I figured this could be a nice backup if I have time, because it's so cute. I loved it. I loved it. So the other thing I worked on this week, and I still might do a little bit more on it today, just to finish a nice goal, was my mini Princess of the Sea by Heaven and Earth Designs, and Donna Gelsinger is the artist. And really enjoyed this one too. I think this is it. This is what that looked like last time. And here it is now. So I was able to work in the second column, and just a little bit here is left in the second column, because this color, this purple color, I kept working this way, and my thread is still here. It's not done yet. What I realized I had been doing, which I wasn't 100% sure last time to tell you until I got into it again. What I've been doing is I'm going down the column and picking colors that way, whichever color comes next in the column. But because there's swaths of color throughout the sky, I'm taking that color and working it until it stops, until it comes to its natural conclusion, whether that be, you know, way out here or whatever. And so this particular color, you know, ended up going all the way over here, and actually the girl's head starts right here, which is really fun. She's actually got a little bit of hair on page 1, and then more of her top of her head is on page 2, which is right here. Really tempted to just go over and start her, but I thought, nope, I'm gonna be good. So got one more color that's like mainly right here, and I think there's like one stitch down here that's something else, but I think I might go ahead and finish that up today before I start my today project, just to get to a good stopping point. But I really enjoyed this, and I really enjoyed the block, like how quickly it went. It's half stitches on 28 count, and it went quickly with the blocks of color. And so this is still a top contender for the Tour de France challenge, because it would be really easy to count, I think. It's a little bit less easy than doing things in blocks, because it's, you know, if I could do stuff like this, you know, I'd have to pay a little more attention to my counting, but the counting could go faster because it's half stitches and it's blocks of color, so we will see. The other contender, which is still very high on my list, is this next one, which I'll be doing, hopefully get to it today and tomorrow. And that will be, pardon me, that will be my Quick Stitch Iris, which I'm doing for my aunt. And that's the big reason why this one might be a contender, because it is for my aunt. I have not given her anything before, so it would be nice to finish this and give it to her. So I will go ahead and show you this, and then go back to my travel stitching this week, since I was talking about this. So this is where this is right now. This is on 25 count even weave or linen or something or other, and it's 1/1 full crosses. The appeal for this one is that it might be a little bit easier to count potentially, and it might feel nicer to count it because they're full crosses. Because I know with half stitches you have to double your stitches, the number of stitches, because it's technically only half a stitch, which makes sense. However, having a larger number to get to could be a like mental block that, oh, that's a lot, you know, I have to finish all this. I don't know, even though it's the same amount of legs of stitches you're stitching, but we'll see how I feel about this one. And what's nice is I'll be stitching this back to back with Princess of the Sea. I'll be doing this right after that one. So I should be able to tell after I work on this which one I want to do for the Tour de France challenge. If I want to work on this when I start working on this, I'm going to start on a new diagonal, which will be fun because I think I finished this last time. And yeah, I think I made sure to finish the diagonal. So I'll be starting a new diagonal. There might be a decent amount of confetti in the flower area, so that's a deterrent for getting stitches quickly for the challenge. But I do enjoy working on this whenever I pull it out, so we will see. We will see. They're both contenders, and I believe I have to pick one. I can't do multiple pieces, so I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure I have to pick. So I still have a few weeks to figure that out. Yeah, let's go ahead and show you what I worked on in my travel stitching, and then I'll finish my plans. So I did get a few more opportunities to work on this Little House Needleworks piece. Let me get my orths out of here. So I'm working on November whenever I have a grab and go situation, which I had a couple different times this past week. So I was working a little bit more on the squirrel. He's not quite done, but he has a tail now. So this is what he looked like before. And there he is now. Still working on that same color, and once I'm done with the squirrel, I'll probably take that color elsewhere in the piece and continue to color complete it. So I should have another couple opportunities this week to work on this, since it's all the year-end things. So there's concerts and promotions and events, and I had a orthodontist appointment for my son last week, so that was one of the other times. So I'm working on this little bits here and there as I wait for things to start. Eventually, it will go back to be my main travel piece when my other travel piece is finished, which it is not yet, but it is getting close. So this is my other travel piece that I'm working on when I'm in the car, and I actually brought this into dinner at my in-laws' house last night and worked on it there too, because I just really, really, really want to get it done. And it's so close. Last night I was able to finish a color of backstitching, so that was fun. That was part of the reason why I was so excited to take it with me and keep working on it, because I really wanted to get that color finished before I showed you guys today. So this is what that looked like last time. Hopefully you can see some difference this time. Here's what it looks like now. And I am really happy with how this is turning out. As you can see, I finished the green. All the leaves are done. And that just made me think of a song. All the leaves are brown and the sky is gray. Okay, and then I finished all the yellow as well. So they had this tan outline color. So all the yellow is done now. All I have to do is the light pink and the dark pink. Woohoo! And I'm debating what I want to do first. I might do the dark pink first, because the light pink is a lot more places. But I don't know. I like seeing the outlines against the wall coming, because it makes these outlying flowers really pop. But I think that might be a nice grand finale, because all the dark flowers are in the middle. So if I do those first and then do the pink, then it's like a grand finale that, yes, they're all popping and everything's done. So maybe I'll do the dark ones first. So I think I should have another, I don't know if I'll have time today or not. I wasn't sure I'd have time yesterday in the Valley Line, and I ended up being able to work on it yesterday, which was really nice. But again, because of school activities and volunteering and various things. I'm not always guaranteed to even have time in the ballet line. So this week, and then going forward, my car stitching will be less predictable. But I'm hoping to get that finished here in the next 2 weeks before I come back. So I hope that will work out. I'm really excited about that one. It's getting close to a finish. And yeah. So I was thinking like that backup piece for the Tour de France thing in July would be Just Nan and the High Hopes piece. That's the sort of thing that I could put in something like Midsummer Roses to make sure it gets done, but hopefully it'll be done before then, so then I wouldn't have that piece available anymore. My last pieces I've been working on were my temperature pieces, and I managed to get them caught up this past week. So here's my quilt, and this is what it looked like last time, and I want you to see if you can see anything unusual. One of these things is not like the other. It's finally summer in Southern California. That is 94, I think. But today it's supposed to get to 100. So we'll see if that actually happens. So we're having a little bit of a heat snap right here. This was 2 days ago. I don't know. Yesterday, I don't actually know what yesterday's turned out to be. But this is caught up with how I'm doing it, where I'm doing 2 blocks on each one every other day. So this is June, and I filled in this little block down here at the bottom of April. And so eventually I would like to get a string going here to finish this, and down here, but I can't ever seem to get ahead of the internal sashing to be able to do some more outside stuff. So I'd like to get those worked on some more too, but I think that's coming along really good. And we finally have another color, which is fun for the garden, or fun for the temperature piece, less fun to live in. It's kind of a shock to the system because it's been cool so long, and all of a sudden it's like, summer, hello. Everyone's like, wow, what happened? It's like oppressive. We're not used to that anymore. We got spoiled. So this is temperature balloons, and I've been working on that too. This is the one I'll work on today. So it so far does not have any of those hot spots yet, but this is what that looked like before. And here it is now. I have this balloon all done. I still need to add its basket and finish the cloud, but this actual balloon is finished. And then I have the start of this balloon. And this one is stitched with diagonal blocks. So it's going to start here and kind of work this way. So this is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going this way. So I need to do this bottom one now, will be a bright color, and then I'll come back up here with the rest of this week will be bright too. So that will be fun. And when I get a chance, I'll start working here on the basket and the cloud a little bit more. So that's really fun. Yeah, so I like those. I finally got, it's nice I can get caught up fairly easily, even though I feel like I get really far behind, and it's not actually that tricky to get caught up again, so that's really nice. So going forward, after Quick Stitch Iris, I'm going to work on that for 2 days, and then I'm going to work on my mom's full coverage piece for 2 days. So that's Knitting Woman. I know that I have a few people out there who like this one a lot. This is what the starting point is on this. This is on 22 count, 2/1 half stitches. So it goes even farther down. It doesn't have the greatest coverage on the dark colors, but when you stand back, it looks great. So I'm continuing on with it. If you look close, you can see a lot of fabric through on the dark spots. Especially in the faces, it's not so great. but when you pull it back, you know, it looks fine. And this is how most people will see it. So this one I've been doing cross country, picking colors, you know, as I'm going. So, but then once I get the color, I'm just doing it until my string runs out, or until I finish it on that page and then my string runs out, something like that. So I'd like to try to get this page finished. And I don't know where the page ends. I don't remember. It might be like right here or something. Because if this is the first page, so yeah, it's like right here. All of this is in the third row down. So this whole, like her strap and this sleeve is the main business that I want to try to work on. So we'll see how much I can get done on that in 2 days. We are, I don't know, it's going to be busy around here, so I don't know how much personal stitching I will get at all, but we will see. Do what I can. And then I'm planning to work on In the Beginning, and I don't know what brand this is. I can never remember. It was a kit that I got a working copy of from my roommate's aunt, and I don't think the instructions actually have a brand. But it was a kit. It's a little hard to find, but I think I might have an Amazon link for it. I can link below if I still have that. I believe it's called In the Beginning, and this is another very old whip. I think it's at least 19 years old, or not at least. It's at most 19 years old, because I started it, I received the pattern when I was a freshman in college, so I probably started it right away, knowing myself. So here is where I'm at now. This is on 18 count Ada using DMC. And I've been stitching, back stitching as I go. And I believe, I don't know if I might have started with this because it was near the center and then worked out, did the butterfly, and I probably did this, and then this. And I think the last time I worked on it, I worked on the monkeys because I figured I want to get the top done before I work down. So this time around, these are fun. There's half stitches and full stitches and some back stitching, enough just to make the characters pop, but not a ton. So that's nice. Up here, I will work across and do, looks like, there's a bird's nest and a peacock, and then the night sky. So this area, I'm not sure how much I would get done. I'm planning to do 5 days, but again, it'll be busy, so I don't know. And then I think when I'm done with this corner, I would start to like work on the words a little bit too. That probably won't happen this time, but we will see how much I get. So this is another old whip. I have no idea when all of these old ones were started, so I don't know the next oldest whip after my Midsummer Roses. And that one even might not even be my oldest whip. Like, I have other ones that are very old as well, so it's hard to know exactly when I started things. And so they're just old. And that's that. Okay, after that, before I come back in 2 weeks, I'm planning to work on, this is one that just kind of, when I was looking through my whips, I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun to work on again, is my Hannah Lynn design by Heaven and Earth Designs. This is Quick Stitch Iris. And I just liked the bright boldness of this designer, and this is the one design from her that I thought, yeah, I'll do that one. That one's cute. And I'm working on this one with meticulous diagonal stitching, so like 1 row at a time. And here's where I am at now. And so I've got lots of stuff parked here at the top to be able to, again, just like Quick Stitch Iris, this is starting a new diagonal, and it might actually be in the exact same spot. Let's see. This is kind of funny. Yeah, they're pretty much exactly the same size. This is on 25 count, this is on 28 count, Rose Monaco. This is 25 count linen, I think. Or fake even weave or something. I don't know what it is, but I am really curious now. That's kind of fun. They're like exactly the same spot. I have this one, is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.5 basically blocks over on the top. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I mean this one had like a partial column on the end of the pattern. So this one is technically a little bit farther along than this one, because this one is 6 blocks along the top, 60 blocks along the top, and this one is like 65 along the top because of that partial column. But essentially the same. That's really fun. So we'll see on those two, and this one I think I gave 4 days. So we'll see how far I get on that one. Have no idea how much progress any of these will see, because cross stitch may have to take a back burner on some days, so we will see. But I will do what I can, enjoy what I can, and I hope you do the same. I hope you have a wonderful June, whatever that means for you, if it's the end of school or summer vacation or fall. I was just watching Lisa stitching and such, and she's enjoying the beginning of fall over there in New Zealand, and that's always a fun season too. I know everybody in the Northern Hemisphere really loves when fall's coming on, so enjoy that too if that's where you live, and in the meanwhile, happy stitching. Bye.